Back like we never left. BDA. We're on the airwaves today. What's going on, people? Um, I'm here today to talk about Hajime no Ippo. Now, Hajime no Ippo is a boxing show centered around Makunochi Ippo, Ippo Makunochi, however you want to say it, whatever. So it's centered around him, right? And it's basically showing his rise through the ranks as a boxer. And I've seen 42 episodes of this show. I did a previous review on the first 10 episodes and I gave my thoughts on it. Now I'm going to give my thoughts on, I guess, 11 to 42. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. This show, I would say, is a very good show. It has likable characters, a progressing plot. It has great action. The animation and art is older. It is an older series. I'm not sure exactly what year it came out, but based on the art and animation, you can tell it's pretty old. Okay, as far as anime is concerned. Um, Regardless, it's a good show, and it definitely hooks you because I watched the first 10, then I took a break. Okay, watched the first 10, took a break. Okay, I'm looking here, and it looks like it was released in 2000. So 2000. So that is 15 years ago is when this show came out. So the art animation back then wasn't where it is now. So that's why we have qualms about that. But let's move on from that and talk about everything else. So the characters, like I said, are likable. We have Ippo, excuse me. We have Ippo, Miyata, Takamura. The two guys, I forgot their names. I remember Yamada, and he is basically a new person. We have Coach, his assistant, Ippo's mom, all those random people, right? So the thing I like about the show is that every episode is progression of the plot, and it is always, you always feel like you're moving forward. You're not stagnant based on what's going on. Like I said, the characters are likable. Takamura is weird because he has a strange affinity for other men's genitalia. Okay, he likes going around and just grabbing men's genitals. Okay, and I guess Ippo has an abnormally larger than regular size genitalia, and that's a gag that's been going on in the show, which is hilarious, by the way, because they look at it, I guess, in Japan as a bad thing. Okay, I don't want to touch too. Okay, I don't want to talk about this topic too much, but that's that is a running gag, which is hilarious. Even when Ippo went to his doctor's office and he found out it's a woman, and Ippo, he's pretty much a really innocent kid, so he sees her breast swinging, and he got a little excited, and she mentions it. Okay, so yeah, that's the type of stuff that goes on in the show. So overall, I would say I enjoyed the show. It's a good show. Now, my issues with this show are not many. There are some. Other than the animation, which I said, you can't really blame that because the show came out so long ago. I know it's going to get better when I get to Rising and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. But sometimes the plot, it seems repetitive. Okay, maybe that's how most shonen are, where the plot and everything that's happening seems repetitive, but this is what I felt. I felt that it was repetitive. Okay, we can talk about Ippo going up against all these different guys. And again, they are different people that he's going up against. It's not the same person every time, but it seems like while I'm watching it, maybe this is just my perspective. Maybe you guys feel differently about it. While I'm watching it, I really just can't wait till Ippo gets a knockout. Maybe that's just me, but then I find myself not caring about the intricate stuff that's going on because all I care about is Ippo getting the upper hand and winning the match. I'm not, maybe it's just me, like I said, but it could be an issue. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think it's repetitive in the way they go about things? We have had some I would guess some surprises. We have had those. So it's not always the same because what they've done to Miyata and his character, who is my favorite character on the show, and I'm seeing, look, I'm typically drawn to these characters, right? My favorite character, Brago, he is kind of like the Miyata of Zatch Bell or Gash Bell, depending on whatever you watch. He is that guy. Sasuke, he is that guy to Naruto, but I think I'm more of a fan of Naruto than Sasuke because of Sasuke's emo tendencies, I should say. Okay, Killua, I'm more of a fan of Killua than Gon. So characters like that, I'm typically drawn to. So it made sense that I was drawn to Miyata. So what they've done to Miyata though? Come on, yo. Miyata was titled a genius, right? And Ippo was just starting out, and Miyata was still a genius. Now, spoiler alert, they fight, I believe, twice. They fought twice so far. Miyata won the first time handily. The second time, Ippo beat him. And now, Ippo beat him because he had a harder punch. Do I call BS on that? I do. I call BS on that because boxing isn't just about hard punches. Now, Ippo did improve considerably, more than I expected, more than I think he should have in that short period of time, but he did improve. And the fact that he was able to beat a genius after, I believe it was 6 months, if that long. After that long, to beat someone that's been in boxing, when we see his backstory his whole life, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong way, man. It does. Because this guy is a genius. There's no way, right? I mean, maybe Ippo is a prodigy in his own right. So maybe I am disregarding that and not looking from that perspective. But imagine Sasuke being the genius that he is, and Naruto, just a regular guy off the street, no chakra control, none of that, comes and in 6 months he's beating Sasuke. Now, you can argue that that's happened in Naruto, but Naruto, after we get his backstory and who he is, I believe he is a child of prophecy, so his growth should have been expected. I'm not knocking the show or bashing the show in any way. I am just curious about how they handle that situation with Miyata. Now, Miyata is one of the best characters of the series, I believe. Ippo hasn't shown as much development as a character. As a boxer, clearly he's developing. As a character, he's limited as far as what he brings to the table. It's the same thing. He's saying thank you and you're welcome too much. He's really passive, and the development in his character, you can attribute that to the development of his boxing, because he's a different person when he boxes. So I don't know if I'm being overly critical because I'm saying that he hasn't developed as a character as far as him personally and how we know him outside of the ring as much he has inside of the ring. Maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they wanted him to develop inside of the ring, and then eventually he's going to show his progress outside of the ring. I admit he has been more assertive outside of the ring, but for the most part, he's still the same guy. I guess at a character's core, you can't change too much, because that's what makes you fall in love with the character. Like Luffy, after his time skip, a lot of people were upset because he was still playing around. Well, Luffy's never going to stop playing around. He's never going to stop. That's who Monkey D. Luffy is, and you just have to accept that. That's just it. People don't understand character development sometimes. They don't. What I mean by that is, if someone doesn't drastically change, they don't consider it character development. Do you know what character development is? Can you explain what character development is? Now, I asked that question before, but I get the same answers. Well, if somebody changes and you notice a change, that's character development. Okay. That's all you got? Okay. Character development is more than that. I mean, in my opinion. I remember I had looked up character development to see if my definition of it is what it is, right? And there are different components to character development. We have the communication style, how the character talks. We got the history. What do we know about the character? Where does the character come from? Appearance. How did the appearance change over time? Relationships. Like, what do we know about this character's family? Is this character, did it change as far as their behavior? Things like that. How did this happen? Their ambitions. Do they still have the same ambition that they've had at the beginning of the series? Is it still the same? I don't want to make this a character development debate, but this is something that people say and they don't really understand it. They don't. So I'm just giving my perspective. I'm by no means a character development expert, but these are some of the things I look for when I talk about character development. How does the character think? Internal dialogue. Does it change over time? How do they navigate through the problems that they have as a character over time? Is it still the same things, or does it change over time? This is what character development is. Another thing is, how relatable is this character? Can you relate to this guy? A lot of times we have these outlandish characters that you're saying is character development, but you cannot relate. Tell me. But all in all, this isn't about character development. This is about Hajime no Ippo. I just had to give my perspective and what I believe character development is. Now back to Hajime no Ippo and Makunochi Ippo in particular. Has he shown character development? Yes, he has. He has shown some. More inside the ring than outside, but admittedly, he has shown some. They comment on his appearance. That has changed. You find out more about his relationships. His ambitions change from time to time, or has changed over time. He's definitely a relatable character. This is what character development is. His communication is pretty much still the same. He's not as assertive. So that needs to be changed. But again, I'm only 40 episodes in. We know all about his history, and his relationships are improving. So, I, you know, Hajime no Ippo, great show. Okay, I didn't mean to turn this into an infomercial or just a knowledge fest about character development, but maybe this will be a thing where after I talk about a series, I touch on the buzzwords in the community, because we have a lot of buzzwords, things that people say but don't really know what they mean. So, um, I don't want to be that guy that just talks about people and tries to put down the way people do things, because part of what makes this community special is individuality and the different way people do things, or the different ways in which people do things. If everyone did the same thing and reviewed series the same way, it would be boring. It would suck. You'd watch one review, then move on. But everyone has their own style. Charisma is different in everyone, and that's what you appreciate. So, you have your elitists out there that kind of they throw stones, jabs, because everyone isn't as sophisticated as they are in presentation and the how you break down material. But everyone doesn't have to be. You don't have to be that way. You just have to do the best at what you do. Just be the best at what you do. If you're putting 110% into what you do, nobody can say anything about what you do. Period. If you half-assing it, your subs and your peers have a right to call you out. They do. They absolutely do. But if you're giving it your all, and if someone still dare to call you out, and because you don't use the same web camera or the same editing software that they do, so it's not as sharp and presentable, yo, clap back. I'm not trying to start anything here. I'm just saying what it is and what's been happening. But I digress. Hajime no Ippo, great show. I do recommend it, and I will be finishing it probably by the weekend. I'm 42 episodes in. It has 78 episodes in the first season, so I should get there shortly. I'm thinking by the weekend, maybe, if I binge watch a couple days. I'm have some projects I'm working on, so I'm not sure. My goal is by the weekend. Tomorrow is Thursday, so I think Naruto tomorrow, maybe. I'm not sure. I know One Piece is on break. I'm going to talk about Bleach tomorrow too. Catch up on Bleach. Talk about what's been going on. But yeah, that's it though, guys. I have nothing else to talk about. I see here in the comments. Underrated Game says, watch what you say on your channel. Watch what you say, or your channel will be terminated by the Ippo Dick Riding Association. Indeed. Indeed, Underrated Game. Listen, man. I didn't bash the show. I just pointed out what I liked about it and how I felt. That's all. I really enjoyed this show. I really do. It's a really good show. But I see Masters going back at Underrated Game. He says, how dare you trash talk Portuguese the Ace on your channel? I did see that, Underrated Game. I saw you talking about Portuguese the Ace. And I may have something to say about that. How he's the worst character other than Bellamy. Stop. But maybe a video is coming soon about that. Who knows? But underrated game, man. Good stuff. Always on his channel. Always interesting. Always interesting. But yeah, that's it though, guys. Let me know what you think about Hajime no Ippo, and also let me know what you think about character development. What do you see when you, or what do you think about when you analyze the development of a character? Let me know what you think. So again, this is Brago D Ace. Just I'm rambling at this point, so I'm gonna go. So again, like the video if you did. Comment, let me know what you thought. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a great evening, people.